All right, you animals. Good morning, guys. Happy New Year to each and every one of you. Hope you guys are excited to take your trading to the next level here in 2021. So, this morning, guys, is my first day in the options gold room over at Simpler Trading. So, I'm very excited to be with the Simpler team here this year. And check this out. Your boy is on the schedule. So, my dedicated time slot is going to be Monday through Friday, 10:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Eastern. And then you got this fella over here, my brother Chandler, who's going to be doing 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern. So cannot wait for my first session here today. Going to be super fun to see everybody in the options room. And if you guys aren't in the options room yet, in the description of this video, I'm going to give you guys a link for a free 7-day trial. So just follow that link, choose the 7-day trial, and then in the checkout, enter coupon code FOCUS to knock off that $7. So you get 7 free days of access to the options room. You can watch me, John, Henry, Danielle, Chandler, and the rest of the Simpler Game Trade live. Hope to see you guys in there. And if you aren't already, go on ahead. Give me a follow here on Twitter at FTM Alerts. Check me out here on Instagram at Focus Trades. And if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And without further ado, let's get jumping in to the first video of 2021. So before we start looking at charts, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of an idea of my goals and my game plan and my focus for 2021. So let's talk about some setups and strategies here. As far as setups, my entire focus this year is going to be on trading weekly, 3-day, and daily squeezes on bullish trending stocks. And as far as the universe of stocks that I'm going to be looking for these opportunities in, I'm going to be focusing on mid and large cap market leading names. And when I say market leading, think of the big FANG stocks: Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, Google. Think of the big semiconductors: Nvidia, AMD, the Teslas, the Pelotons, just those big momentum names that the institutions love to work in and out of. And as far as the strategy that I'm going to take for these squeezes on these big leading names, this is always, guys, a matter of personal preference. For me, I'm a credit spread guy. So I'm going to be focusing on put credit spreads, but a little bit of a change for me this year. I'm going to be giving it a little bit more time. And instead of focusing on that 5 to 15 day till expiration time frame, I'm going to be giving my swings a little bit more like 30 to 40 days till expiration. And I'll share with you guys a couple of reasons why. But as far as the indicators and tools I'm going to use, as you guys have seen in all the other videos, I'm a squeeze fanatic, so I'm going to be using the Squeeze Pro indicator, which you can purchase in the description of this video at a nice discount, along with a couple other goodies, so go on ahead and check that out. I'm also going to be using the Thinkorswim Squeeze Scan, looking for these opportunities in my universe. And as far as, tracking my day-to-day performance, my equity curve, open positions, closed positions, I got a couple spreadsheets here as well that I'm more than happy to share with you guys. So just hit me up at focustradest@gmail.com if you'd like a fresh copy. But that's a goal this year, guys. Focusing on my favorite setup on big, powerful time frames, weekly, 3-day, and daily squeezes, only focusing on the strongest names in the market, and giving my swings plenty of time to work with 30 to 40 days per expiration. Till expiration on my put credit spreads. Let's get jumping into some charts and show you guys a couple of examples. But beforehand, as far as my goals this year, the key word here, guys, is average. So I don't want to see any silly ass comments. Average. Some months I'm going to make way less than 10%. I bet you some months I'm going to make more than 10%. I might have a couple of losing months. I'm looking to average monthly returns of at least 10%, which is a little bit more than doubling your account over the course of the year, which I think with options is certainly very possible if you're focusing on good, high probability setups. And then you see here, guys, plant seeds. That's what I'm looking to do this year. Find a good high probability setup, give that sucker plenty of time to work out, plant the seed, and look to show up 30, 40 days later and see if that puppy is bearing any fruit. So a prime example of the kind of setups I'm going to focus on is Amazon here. In Amazon, we got a beautiful weekly squeeze with orange dots here on the Squeeze Pro. So it ain't getting any tighter than that. You got a good looking 3-day squeeze. You got a couple orange dots scattered throughout there. And then you also got the daily squeeze with some nice bullish momentum. So you got those squeezes there on 3 big time frames. What I've been doing here for the last couple of weeks is planting seeds on Amazon. I found a setup I like in a market-leading stock, and I'm pretty confident that maybe not over the next 5 days, not over the next 10 days, but over the next 30, 40, 50 days to the expiration, I like the odds of the weekly squeeze firing to the upside here. So instead of sitting around and waiting for that move to happen and then potentially putting myself in a position where I got to chase that thing, I'm planting seeds a little bit early. And a big part of this, guys, is focusing on the structure of the setup and having the willingness to sit through the noise and to continue to scale into a position as long as the structure of that setup does not change. And what I mean by that is, in the example of Amazon here, I like the weekly squeeze. And I'm under the mindset, as long as the weekly squeeze holds above that 21 EMA and it keeps the structure to it, I think it's got a good chance of firing long here into January, into February. So I think it's a valid setup to hold a position through and to continue to scale into, as long as those weekly bars continue to close above that weekly 21. So Amazon hasn't quite done anything over the last few weeks. I've been swinging this, but it has not broken that structure, and I've continued to hold it. So I'm planting those seeds going back towards Thanksgiving, looking to collect those profits as we roll into the next few weeks here. So show you guys what I'm working with. So I got 3 different sets of credit spreads, and between the 3 of them, guys, it's about 50 or so % of max profit right now. Let's check out this January 15th expiration. Going back, I believe this was the last week of November, I'm planting my seeds. I found a setup I like. Let me start working my way into a position. I sold the put credit spread, selling the 3080s, buying the 3070s, and though Amazon hasn't done anything, basically, since we've taken the entry, we're collecting some profits here due to the passage of time. I've also got the following week, January 22nd expiration, 3080 by 3070 put credit spread, as well as a 3120 by a 3110. Here's why I love credit spreads. I'm trading a weekly squeeze here. I'm up about $9,000 to $10,000 right now, and the stock hasn't done crap. But because of the passage of time and because you're selling those out-the-money options to somebody else out there, you slowly but surely begin to collect some premium. And of course, in a perfect world, if Amazon could get its crap together here and get moving, you start getting some nice premium rolling in. But that's my mindset this year, guys. Another example of that whole find a good setup, start planting seeds mentality is NVIDIA. I like the weekly squeeze. I think this is a valid idea to continue to hold and continue to scale into, as long as we have the structure here and we're holding our weekly 21. So, slowly but surely, I'm planting a couple of seeds in here. I got a credit spread for the end of January. I got a credit spread for the 5th of February, giving it plenty of time and not putting myself in a position where if NVIDIA doesn't explode this week, I'm screwed. I like the weekly squeeze, and if this weekly squeeze can just simply hold up, or even better, get something going over the next 30 to 40 days, we already got a couple seeds planted here that are going to bear fruit. So January 29th, I got the 517.5 buy, 512.5 put credit spread. And then on February 5th, we got the 500 by 490 put credit spread. Show you guys a couple more examples here. And there's a bunch of them right now. Facebook, same thing, guys. Beautiful weekly squeeze. Obviously a very good trend here. As long as we're holding that weekly 21, I think that's a candidate for slowly scaling into a position, not looking for a move this week, but looking for a move over the next 30 to 40 days, into January, into February, as long as it's holding that structure. Another good one here is Netflix. Beautiful weekly squeeze. I think you could take the same mindset. There's too many examples, guys. Let me show you one more here before I let you go. NEO. Now let's look at NEO here from a weekly chart perspective. This is an incredibly strong trend. It fires the weekly squeeze back in June, runs all the way up until November, and you're coming off your first pullback here to the weekly 8 EMA. So as far as this momentum and this bullish trend structure, I think this is a valid one as long as we're holding that weekly 8 EMA. I think a close below the weekly 8 could open the door for a move back to the 21, but regardless, as long as we hold in that weekly 8, I think the trend is very much alive here. So we take a look at the daily chart. You got a good bullish weekly, and you got a beautiful daily squeeze. Stacked EMAs were above the moving averages. We got bullish momentum, hitting that good old histogram down there. I like this setup. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to take this trade. I'm just giving you guys an example here. If I want to get positioned for that potential move higher, I'm not going to structure something that expires this Friday. I'm going to give it as much time as possible. One component of this kind of, swing trading mindset is you are going to be having to think about earnings. So with NEO, earnings are the first week of March. At least that's what it's looking like right now. So I want to go as close to the week of the expiration as I can, and then place the put credit spread on that expiration. So it's looking like February 19th. The February monthlies might be a good place to start here. Here's the benefit, guys, of giving your swings on the credit spreads 30, 40 days to expiration. Granted, if NEO explodes this week, you might not collect your max profit immediately, but by giving the spreads plenty of time, we're working with more premium here. So we could sell a put credit spread selling the 40s, buying the 35s, going good $5 wide, and on a 10 contract position, you're getting a credit of about $1.50. It's almost a 2-to-1 risk-reward ratio. Let's call it 2.5 to 1, something in that neighborhood. Here's the beauty though, guys. Let's say we want to build into a big position here, and this, I'm throwing numbers out here that make sense to me. Let's say I'm comfortable potentially losing $24,000. Here's the beauty of this. By giving this plenty of time to expiration, these options have so much premium left. Take a look at this. If we were to put that trade on here today, and remember our max loss is 24,000, and we're going to sell that 40 strike. If we put the position on today, let's take a look here. Come this Friday, January 8th, we're risking $24,000. That's our max loss. If our short option, the 40 strike, goes in the money here in week 1, we're down about $7,500, which, again, guys, do these kinds of things with position sizes and numbers that make sense to you, but that's a pretty modest fraction of your overall risk there. This is what's even crazier. We put the spread on right now. For us to take our max loss by Friday, the stock would have to drop. Let's keep it going. This is obviously pretty extreme. The stock would have to drop to about $20. Is it possible? Well, of course, anything's possible in the market. I think we learned that last year. But I have a lot of confidence that the stock's not going to get torn apart by 50% in a couple of days. So don't abuse this. Only risk what you're comfortable, actually potentially losing. But the mindset here, guys, is if I find a good setup, I'm going to be way less impacted by that day-to-day noise because I'm giving the spread plenty of time. Granted, NEO might explode to 45, $50 this week, and we're only going to have a modest chunk of our profit here, but I'm not trying to get paid in a hurry. I'm trying to find 1 or 2 good setups a month and begin to plant those seeds, and you can give them plenty of time to expiration. Your downside risk, I think, is, how can I word this? I think your downside risk is not limited, but it certainly softens the blow when it requires such an extreme move against you to take on that max loss in week 1. And of course, as the weeks go by, it just begins to work more and more in your favor. So this is just an example, guys, but by giving it 30, 40 days to expiration, I can find a good-looking setup here. I can plant a seed for February that's not going to give me too much of a headache, and then I can kind of let the passage of time do its thing. As long as we're holding a good structure here, continue to ride out the trade with the hopes of rolling into February with a nice paycheck to pick up here from the seed that we planted 45 days beforehand. So hopefully that makes sense, guys. Obviously, I got a lot more videos coming your way, but that's just a general insight to my focus this year. Weekly, 3-day, daily squeezes, trading them on the market-leading stocks with put credit spreads with 30 to 40 days to expiration, looking to plant those seeds. And the goal here is, we're looking at January right now. For the month of January, we got a potential $18,000 or so of profit in Amazon over in NVIDIA. We got a potential $8,000 to $10,000 of profit. I've already planted my seeds for January. January, I need to focus on just making sure those setups hold up and letting that premium roll in with the passage of time. So I'm already thinking about February now. How can I start planting some seeds for February? We got one little seed planted here in NVIDIA. I'll be checking out Facebook. I'll be checking out NEO, some Tesla, etc. Hopefully that makes sense, guys. So I appreciate you for watching. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. And guys, if you're not in the Simpler group yet, take advantage of that 7-day free trial. I'll be in there 10:30 to 11:30 every day this week, and I hope to see you guys there. But until tomorrow morning's video, safe trading. Peace out.